Can't believe it. I spent 40 hours building a fantasy mushroom cave and I completely forgot about spore blossoms. What a moron. Thankfully, I have all of you in the comments to remind me, but let's quickly go solve that, shall we? That's better. We've got a few spore blossoms in and some particles floating about. Sorry I let you down, folks. That was completely unacceptable. Forgive me. Now on with the video. And once again, thank you to Cyberpower UK for sponsoring this episode. Have you checked them out yet? Now, log flume. We've spent weeks making this ride, and its primary purpose, outside of being a fun ride, of course, is to be a tree farm. But I kind of sort of removed most of the tree farms, so now I've got to get them back in. Good news though, you've already seen me build these tree farms. I did build them a few episodes ago, so if you want to know how they work, then please do go back and check out those episodes, and yeah, don't look at the side of the mountain. Basically, when I was doing the inside, it has, of course, affected the outside as well, and now I don't even know what to do with it. Let's just keep on running. But anyway, tree farms. I'm not going to show you how to build these ones. As I say, I did do it a few weeks ago, but I will show you where we're putting them. And I think the first one we're going to get in here, which is going to be our dark oak tree farm. And I think as long as we remember to put some protection on the wood so it doesn't disappear like it did with the farm next door, I think we should be okay. And one thing I would like to do while we put this tree farm in is also to get that wheel spinning on the outside, because, well, it looks weird just being stationary. We need to make sure we get that hooked up, and that is around here somewhere. There it is. So it's not going to be able to provide power because the water outside isn't flowing, but we can make it look like it's being powered by the water. Anyway, right, let's get this dark oak farm in. And there we go, our dark oak farm has been reinstated. We've just got the water wheel underneath the ground, and that should do just fine. I've also transferred a bit of the power from that water wheel to that wall there, and that is now spinning our wheel on the outside. And yeah, that is going in the right direction. The water's flowing that way, so yep, that makes sense. Good stuff. We're finally turning this back into a tree farm. And we'll sort out collection of the items and storage for all of those once we've got the rest of the farms in, because I don't have a clue how we're going to do that yet, but we'll work it out. So that's dark oak in there. We've currently got acacia, spruce, and nothing on that side. Apparently we've run out of jungle saplings. But that's what we've got going on in here. However, I do actually want to add birch and cherry blossom and what's the other one we're missing? Oak? Yes, oak. I want to get those added in here as well. Let's just quickly get this adjusted. Okay, that should just about do it. So I've put the cherry blossoms and the acacia in the middle because they tend to sort of stretch out in weird directions a little bit more. Oak is also in the center because they can get quite tall. And then I've just got the birch, the spruce, and the jungle off to the sides. So before I turn this back on, I should probably actually swap out the floor. That'll be helpful. That should do it. Let's just turn this one back on. And look at that, we have our rows of saplings, and hopefully that's going to give us a buttload of wood. And once again, we are going to need to sort out all the storage for that, but we'll get to that in a bit. But now we have a much bigger problem to solve, and that problem is mangrove, the other wood we're not yet farming. And the problem with mangrove trees is they can potentially grow really, really big, and I mean really big. So I think what I might actually do is potentially blast a few more of these trees into existence and create a little bit of a wall, a bit of a barrier maybe. I should probably sort out this river as well while I'm at it, in fact. And then we'll probably hide the mangrove farm sort of behind all of these trees in this area here, so it's not really going to be visible from the ride, which is what we want. We don't have to hide it inside somewhere because I really don't want to stick another big building down. So yeah, I think we'll do it probably over where those birch trees there are, but we're going to need to create a barrier first, and we're going to need to sort out the rest of this river. I'll best line up some building music. that, the mangrove farm is in, but you'd never know. You can barely see it. It's just hiding at the back there. And when a mangrove tree does pop up, it's only there for a couple of seconds before it goes, so I think that's absolutely fine. I'm in the ride. But I've also sorted out the river around the side here as well, so this actually continues all the way round to the entrance. Although I've still got some landscaping to do over the other side of the river, and of course, the actual entrance to the right here. Haven't quite decided how I'm going to do this yet, but one thing I do know I need over here is some form of storage. So I'm wondering if we put a small sort of building here, some kind of a lean-to shack maybe, and then we can bring all the resources across this belt here and into somewhere where they can just gather up, basically. Eventually, I will transport them to the monorail station for this area, but, well, there isn't one yet. So for now, we'll just have a little shed or something, I think. But we also need to get the resources over to this area, and to be honest, I don't really want to sort of mess too much with what we've already got going on. I do like the fact that this belt goes through here. It works to break up the queue. I do need to give it some power, though, of course. As well as this one here. It looks weird not moving. But besides that, I don't really want to have belts running through this area. I don't think it's going to look right. A bit like that mountain. What is even going on over there right now? So I think what we might actually do instead is basically just have something go underground, maybe. And then we can have them all run underground and then end up in that building over there. And that way we're not going to mess with everything that's already going on here. And I really do need to get it sorted. As we can see, there are lots of dark oak logs going on in here, it would seem. But we can do the same thing with all of these. Just connect up something to feed it all underground and into that building. And then from that building there, we can then get it out the front for storage. We have a plan. Now I just need to put it into action. Getting tantalizingly close to having this ride done, and I'm very happy. Mainly because I'm very excited about what we're doing next, if I'm honest. I just can't get these things built quick enough. Right, underground stuff. Yep, that's what we're doing. And I think a nice straightforward belt network would do it. And I think that's just about sorted. We've got the belts working, we've got all of the farms hooked up, so everything should just come through. And I even got the belts over here spinning, the saws going. We're all looking good. There's nowhere for the resources to go at the moment, though, so we're just ending up with a big pile on the floor here. So this is going to be our next challenge. Figuring out how to store everything. And I should probably also do something about the saplings. Because I'm basically just emptying the storage completely every time it gets to the back, that could be a bit of a problem for the dark oak farm. Namely because it needs 4 saplings at a time and you don't always get 4 from a tree, which means we could potentially end up with a situation where we don't actually have enough saplings planted. Oh, in fact, that's already happening. Yep, the farm's already stopped. Fantastic. So yeah, we're going to need to put something in here to kind of recycle the saplings. So let's do a test here. If I was to have one of them there, is that still going to work? No, he's a bit far away. How about there? Nope, still too far. How about there? That gonna work? Okay, right, so that works. Though now he's stopped spinning around. That's weird. Let's try that again. Does that happen every time? No, that was just a weird anomaly. So if we put a pickup there and an empty there, we'll put a sapling filter on that one there. Can we get away with just using these? And if we put these saplings in there... Oh, yeah, obviously it's going to plant them, isn't it? How about in there? So it should drop them off, and then they should go... into there? They did not go into there. Maybe this needs a filter to say don't let the saplings through. So if we put that as a deny list filter and stick that in there, then hopefully next time we chuck a sapling in here, it'll actually go through into this box. Wonderful. Now I just need to feed those saplings back into the machine over this way, and that should just about do the trick. Now I just need to load it up with some more saplings because, well, we haven't got any for some reason. Maybe because I broke the farm a little bit, but who's pointing fingers? Now, if we stick a void upgrade on this box, what that means is it will only ever hold, what is it, like the base amount, which is still quite a lot to be fair, but any more than that, it will just throw them into the void. And that means we're not going to be filling up this thing, which is definitely not what we want to be doing. I guess I should probably downgrade this to only hold a stack as well, which I'm sure is an upgrade. Yep, this one here, that's what we want. So if we stick that on it as well, that means it's only ever going to hold a stack in here, and it's going to load that stack into this every time it goes round, and then any leftovers are going to get pulled out and then loaded back in again, and so on and round, but it means it won't run out of saplings, and it also won't back up the system. If we chuck those in there and put that on there, then hopefully it should pick those up, plant all of them, and then we get any leftovers come back through. Yep, there we go. So it's planting those, and those, and those, and there should be some left over, and they're going to go right back through. Get loaded back into it again. And go round again, and so on. So it's going to be a little bit slower. It's not going to spin as much, but that shouldn't affect how much wood we get. Right, that's that problem solved. What else was I supposed to be doing? Well, I should probably check on the mangrove one and make sure that it's still got saplings, which it appears it's not got quite enough, but it also hasn't run out. We'll see what happens. We'll keep an eye on that one. And this one's fine as well, just because it's set up a bit differently, so it shouldn't ever run out, so that's good. Right, so storage, some kind of small shack or something. That's what we need. Now, for this build, I think it makes sense to start off just marking out roughly where we can put a building down. What kind of building do I want it to be? Maybe we could do like a combined building. So part of it could be storage for all of our logs and everything else we're getting out of this, and another part could potentially be like the photo booth type thing. Problem is, it's not really by the exit, so that might be a bit confusing. Let's see. But either way, right, we've got 8 types of wood, or 8 different log types, I should say. So we'll make it 8 wide. That currently makes sense in my brain. And we'll make it like 5 blocks deep. That's probably enough. And I think it makes sense to try and work out the layouts for what we're going to be doing. I do need to make some trim. We'll get a bit of that. But I do wonder if we can literally do like a few little log piles and then kind of have the storage scattered in the piles of logs. I don't know how that's going to look. It could be absolutely awful. And apparently I've left my axe in the stripping machine. Right, let's go get that. Otherwise I'm just going to be punching logs all morning. Yep, there it is. Much better. So in theory, that should be all the boxes we need. We've got the 8 wood types, and then we've got the sort of boxes for extras. We might need another one of these. I suppose if I think about it, there are also apples and sticks and so on, so we might need another box there. But now what I need to do is get all of these attached to each other. So some places that will be fairly easy. I can just stick one in there. I can stick one there. But obviously we've lost the wood texture now, but we'll do something about that in a moment. We're also going to need them there and there, which means we're not going to be able to have that bite block sitting there, because we kind of need to cover up the side of some of these. But if we carry that connection out to the back here, this is where we can load up the system. So all of these bits are now connected. I need to put one in here. And in fact, I need to put them down there as well. And that should connect up all of these ones. Okay, so we've created one coherent storage unit now by connecting them with the trim blocks. And then we'll just have a loading system sitting down here. But we have made a bit of a mess of our log piles. So let's see what we can do about that. Copycat layers might be a good start. We can sort of cover up some of these bits. All right, something like this could work. I actually went with more piles of logs like this. I think it worked a little bit better than using the panels, but this should work quite nicely. I think I've given everything a home over here. We've got the 8 wood types. We've got the extra bits we get from mangrove. We've got the apples and the sticks. And of course, we've got the saplings. I don't have mangrove propagules in here because, well, it ran out. So for now, we're just not removing them from the system at all. Eventually it's going to back up, but at least for now that'll be fine. And although we've got dark oak down here, we're very unlikely to end up with any dark oak here. If we do, then it's probably broken. So yeah, we'll keep an eye on that too. But what I need to do now is get all this hooked together with a draw controller and then get it all being fed, which means I need to make myself one of these and probably maybe one of these as well, which means I need some redstone comparators and quartz and all sorts. Luckily, we should have some of that in storage. So if we put that draw controller on there, I do want to check, can I actually feed it directly like that? I normally do it with the draw controller slaves, you see, but I don't actually know. Yep, looks like you can do it with those as well. That's definitely gone in. Okay, that's good news. Not that I want to use smart chutes. I want to use normal ones. And I wonder, could we maybe go at an angle? Then all I need is one of those and a belt. And that should do the trick. That should start feeding everything in. I do, however, also want to make sure the system doesn't get backed up. And that means we're going to need a bunch of obsidian so that I can make some more void upgrades. But I've already used pretty much all I had, so I guess our best bet is probably just to go to the end and steal a bit of one of the pillars out there. It's not too far away, it should only take a moment. that was weird. I just totally zoned out. But look how much obsidian we've got. Not as much as I'd hoped, but that should be fine. Certainly a lot more than we need. Let's go home. Oh, great. It's raining. Put the sad music back on.
That's enough.
So let's make some void upgrades for these things. And then we'll just stick one of these on each barrel. And I have also given these an upgrade so they can store 32 times the normal amount, which still isn't going to be loads, but it's better than what it can normally hold. I mean, I think they're going to be able to hold about 64,000, so that should just about do it. And then any excess will get voided so that it doesn't clog up the belts. Now what I need to do is make this whole thing look nice, because currently it does not. Started by fixing the chutes so that the wood can actually get collected instead of just thrown all over the place, then used dark oak to make a sloped roof. The addition of some oak horse fences finished up the back and side walls, as well as using them on the underside of the roof at the front, which adds a pop of colour. A quick floor replacement with some coarse and rooted dirt, alongside a smattering of leaves and a rock or two, and I think this is looking pretty good. Although I do tend to like adding the occasional stone button as well, just to have a little sort of floor stone thing going on. But I'm loving these bite blocks for the tiny leaves and the smaller rocks and things. They really do work well. But anyway, that's our storage sorted. Maybe we should sort out the front while we're here. I do still need to connect up that path to this path here and potentially over to here now as well. That would probably make sense. And then just create somewhere for it to go off into the distance and connect back to the rest of the park. I guess I'm pretty much just going to need a bit of mud. Oh, great, it's raining. And it's dark as well. I should be a good YouTuber and sleep to make it all light and bright. There we go. Much better. Completely forgotten what I was saying, though. Oh, yes, front bit. Make it look nice. That's what we're going to do. I can start by getting rid of this hole. Now, I think to make this area work, the first thing we're going to do is just get all of the floor replaced. Really don't want it grassy over here. Now let's just get a path extension in. We need to get this all the way over there somewhere. Alrighty, the path is in and we're going to have this connect up over in that direction at some point in the future. But for now, what we need to do is make some kind of a ride entrance here. So what could we do for this? I mean, I guess it makes sense to have some kind of archway or something. I'm going to have a little play around and see what I can come up with here. How about something like that? I think that's come out okay. I've made a cool sign for it as well. I've tried to make it look like it's engraved in the wood, and I think that works nicely. This is Turbulent Timbers, our wonderful log flume ride. But I've also added stacks of planks down here. I think maybe getting a couple of straw statues in to make this place look a little bit more lively, like it's got some animatronics. That'll be pretty cool. And I've got all of the path down here finished as well. I've got some fences in. We could maybe do with a couple more trees over here. I think that would be nice. Maybe even a cheeky little mushroom, who knows? We do have the blueprints for them now, but I think maybe one of like the small brown mushrooms or something in here just to hint at the fantasy side of it that's inside the mountain might actually be quite cool. But if we jump into free cam, apart from the mountain in the background, I think this is all starting to look pretty good. And while I've been doing that, we've had plenty of wood coming in as well. This is wonderful. Though thinking about it, I could probably do with a few street lights down here, maybe a bench and a few finishing touches. And while we're at it, let's get these trees in as well. I went with the red mushroom in the end, but I think it adds a much needed splash of colour. And we've also got a few extra trees in here with the schematic cannon. Got the straw statues in. We've added some street lights. We've even got benches and bins. And there's a nice little seating area around the corner here as well. And very importantly, we've also got some signs up, although there weren't quite enough letters for me to put timbers. So, yep, close enough. So I think for now that completes the entrance here. All of this is good. We've got our actual resources coming in. This is wonderful. And we've got a pretty much fully immersive ride. And I say pretty much because we're still missing one portion of it. And if we go around this way, we can see what it is we're missing. And it's this side. Ignore the mountain. I'm not talking about the mountain, at least not the outside of it. What I am talking about is this pathway in here. Let's just turn my brightness up. There we go. So we've got this cave here that we need to sort out. And this is going to have a path that swoops round, goes over this hole, this sort of chasm we've got down here, and connects up to the path here inside the cave, which doesn't look so good with full brightness on, so let's look this way. So this is quite a big area for us to sort out because it's also this sort of lower section where the ride goes. The ride's going to be kind of swooping around here after coming down this tunnel here, which once again does still need some work. Oh, geez, there's actually more here than I thought. But this all loops round. We've got another little sort of cavey bit here. I think I was going to put water in there, was my thinking, so that would pour into the ride. But we do need to get all of this area here sorted as well. But once we've done that, which is still quite a large job in itself, we're almost done. I really don't know what to do about the mountain. Somebody help! But I guess the good thing about working in here is we can't see the mountain. Fantastic. I think the first thing I'm going to do in here is decorate the cave. I do want to keep it similar to what we did last episode in here with all the sort of glowy things, the hangy-dangly things, and the mushrooms and whatnot. So I do want to keep that all tied in. And I think I'm going to build some kind of stone ledge that goes around the outside that acts as the path, as opposed to putting a bridge across the middle. I think I want people to actually be able to see sort of right down and into the hole and into the ride. But thankfully, I think we've still got plenty of stuff left over from last episode when we did the big cave to be able to do this small one. At least I hope, because I don't have many more resources than this when it comes to cave decorating. So let's think about this. The first thing I want to do is I do want to make sure that there's sort of a river going down. I think having water pouring down here, down this edge, and then joining into the ride would be pretty cool, not just for the riders, but also for the people walking over the top. So let's get that water channel in first, and we can build on that. And I think something like that should work nicely for a river route, and we're going to have lots of mossy stuff around the outside here, and I've just started working out the path. But I think I want to get some spruce fences in here. That's a little bit too dangerous to leave open, I think. And then that's going to link up here and then link back to the outside. So it should be quite a nice route. That ceiling is very flat. Gonna need to fix that. But let's go get some spruce fences for this bit here and just kind of finish off this ground level here first. And then we'll tackle the ceiling after. But I need to sort out my inventory. Look at this mess. I haven't even got the things I need. To say, I absolutely love it. It's basically just an extension of what we did out there, but I think this is looking really quite good. Got our glowberries in. I even remembered to add a spore blossom. In fact, I think I put another one over there as well. We've got some roots, and I even managed to squeeze in one of the big old mushrooms. I particularly like those small wall mushrooms over there, though. They just look lovely. I've also got the path completed all the way up the top here, and that now connects back to the main path outside. But what we need to do now is sort out this lower area here, because, well, the detailing just sort of stops at this level. But what we need to do is sort out all of this sort of corridor that goes down into the lower part of the ride. And this is where the ride sort of comes down from the top and then swoops around. If I can get out of the water here, there we go. And it sort of swoops round and down and round this way before it goes up the big lift hill, which I do need to change the track on actually, now I see it. So basically, we've just got another cave to decorate. That's pretty much what this is going to be. But it's not just the cave, it's also the corridor that kind of goes up and round this way. So yeah, a reasonable amount to get done. But if we can get all of this bit connected up here and down to the bottom, then that is going to be the actual ride side of things complete. From a sit on it and ride point of view, we still don't have any custom sounds on it, and the mountain's still a mess. But if we can get the ride done today, I'll be very happy. I think for the final push here, we're just going to chuck on some music and see how far we can get. Oh, I think we're finished. The hole down there is done. I even jammed a mushroom in, look. But if we go down here and have a little ganders, you can see that I have actually swapped out the track and sorted out that cave rise area as well. But this little cave is looking pretty cool. I mean, it's pretty much just more of the same of what we've got upstairs, but crammed into a smaller space. And with the tunnel here, I have done a little bit of decoration, but I've kept it quite simple. I do want this to be a dark tunnel, so when the log flume comes down here, it doesn't really know where it's going, doesn't know what to expect. But at the top here, we've also got the entrance sorted. This now goes in, the water starts cascading down, and I think that should work quite nicely. So we will take this on a proper ride and do a lovely cinematic, of course, just not in today's episode. I think that's something I'd like to do when I finally fix that mountain. And also get all the sounds and stuff in, of course, but it takes a long time to do the sounds because I've got to find the sounds and then I've got to make them into discs and then I've got to hook them all up and so on. And, well, it's quite boring to watch. So that's probably something I'll sort out in between episodes, and then hopefully hopefully I'll be able to take you on a lovely cinematic experience of our ride here, which I've already forgotten the name of. Turbulent Timbers, that was it. But I think we have made some really good progress today. Getting the front out here sorted has made me very, very happy indeed. Getting all of the farms back in. Quite pleased with how the entrance has come out as well, and I did actually design that logo myself. Not too bad. So we are just inches away from completing the second ride in this park, as long as we ignore that mountain. Oh, what am I going to do about that mountain? If you've got any ideas, please do let me know in the comments. Send help!